Hell, you could say that 10,000 times and it still wouldn't be enough.
It fires me up, man.
I love it. Say it one more time.
Shake it back!
Does that feel good?
Yeah, it rhymes. They're both verbs.
Kick it on over to the Cleveland Browns.
Cleveland Browns, probably the biggest question mark out of all the teams in the division, with Deshaun Watson having a full season. Nick Chubb, top 5 running back in the league, top 3, top 2, top 1. I don't know. Definitely up there. Solid offensive line, not the best, but Donovan Peoples-Jones bringing in Elijah Moore from New York, and then Amari Cooper had an amazing year last year. David Njoku seems like he's one of those like any day now guys that he's going to be the best tight end in the league if he just does it, but still waiting on him to do it.
Yeah, I mean, he's like clearly a top like 5 fantasy tight end, but like that consistency hasn't met up with it yet, right?
Yeah. But I mean, looking at this team from top to bottom, decent secondary. Myles Garrett on the defensive line is one of the best defense players in the league. Zadarius Smith still a beast. They got dudes all over this field. Like it's like when you're sitting around with your buddies at a bar, and it's like if you can name over 5 guys on offense and defense, it's got to be a good team, right? But we haven't seen it yet. We didn't see it with Baker. We didn't see it previous Baker years. It was like they've been building and building and building. They were so bad for so long, and then everybody like put their finger on them, like, oh, this is gonna be it. This is gonna be it. They got a little bit better. They won that playoff game versus the Steelers, but I mean they haven't. Is it a Cleveland thing or what? But like,
I mean, they build their team for the starting roster. And if you haven't caught on, if you've been listening or watching any of these, I'm really big on depth. And they do not have they have some decent depth in the wide receiver room, I will say. I'm a little confused by the roster construction. I mean, maybe it is on purpose for Deshaun Watson to go up and get it guys, but like Cooper, Peoples-Jones, and Cedric Tillman feel like 3 of the same type of receiver to me. Adding Elijah Moore helps with that because he is definitely a different type of receiver. But then David Bell, I'm not sure David Bell can be on the field that often when you've already got 3 slower, bigger wide receivers out there, because like you need more of a speed threat. I mean, you went and got Marquise Goodwin, which makes sense to get more of a speed threat. You have Anthony Schwartz on the roster who hasn't really worked out thus far. But behind Nick Chubb, this running back room went from like, where did they get all these guys to like, where did all their guys go? Like, it's just Nick Chubb and Jerome Ford now, and that's it. And Jerome Ford hasn't really done anything in this
I was
league.
always a big critic of them. Like, why would you give the ball to anybody except Nick Chubb? So it might make the running back room better.
Maybe it does. And then they do have good depth at tight end with Njoku and Harrison Bryant and Jordan Atkins. They clearly want to be a tight end centric offense, with that tight end room. And their O-line, I mean, Wills has been a guy in this league. He hasn't really lived up to the draft status, but he hasn't been bad either.
But the rest of the offensive line is pretty good.
It's good, but the depth again is it's not. Well, I guess so. Fair. Thinking about the rookies though, DeJuan Jones and Luke Whippler do give them better depth than I'm probably giving them credit for.
I like DeJuan Jones a lot.
Yeah, that gives them more depth than I initially wanted. That I was initially thinking. But their guard depth is rough. If they have a guard injury, they could be in for a rough time. They got Colby Gossett is their first guy off the bench. Whippler can't play guard. I don't think Pochik can kick over to guard. DeJuan Jones probably isn't a guard. So they're just James Hudson is probably your backup guard at that point, and James Hudson doesn't do a lot for me when I've seen his numbers and stuff like that. On the defense, their D line, I like the depth, but their secondary depth literally terrifies me. They are an injury away from just being burnt toast. Like, they got Greg Newsome, awesome starter. Greg Newsome is an awesome football player. Shut down corner, great cover man. Denzel Ward, same thing. Had some injuries last year, but a shutdown cornerback. So they got 2 shutdown corners, and then they added Martin Emerson, who is an ascending player. He put together some really good numbers last year and played really well for them. So that's 3. They got 3 really good starting cornerbacks. Behind that, they got a rookie and nothing. I mean, I like Cam Mitchell out of Northwestern this year. The rookie that they got in I want to say like the 4th or 5th round, but he's a 4th or 5th round pick, and that's all. That is literally your cornerback depth right now. Outside of that, no one else on the roster is proven to be able to produce at the NFL level. You're muted, Jay.
I was saying, so you got to stay healthy.
Yeah, you got to stay very healthy, which is scary. This cornerback room, no one played over 83% of the snaps last year. So, I mean, that's what, 2 games you're missing out of the season where you're just burnt. You might be burnt toast. I mean, their safety room isn't bad. Juan Thornhill, Grant Delpit, Rodney McLeod. That's some solid depth there, and more than a lot of teams can even say they have in the safety room. But the corner room scares me. It really does on this team, and that's a position that can utterly tank your season if stuff goes wrong.
Yeah. So looking at this, looking at the Vegas odds here, over under 9.5, playoffs plus 150, win division at plus 425, AFC champ plus 2200, Super Bowl at plus 4,000. If I'm taking something here, I'm taking the division because I think that's their ceiling. And at 4-1 odds, I'll take that because over under, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if every team in this division finishes between like 7 and 10 wins. So it's like I'm not putting a whole lot of faith into that.
It feels high risk to go over with anyone in this division.
Yeah, and then playoffs. I mean, you basically get even odds to make the playoffs. So just give me the win to the division here because I mean this is a team. If they stay healthy, they absolutely can win the division.
Yeah, I think this is one of the highest variance teams we've looked at so far in the 3 divisions we've looked at now. This is a team whose ceiling is really high and whose floor is probably pretty low, and it's like it can land literally anywhere in such a wide range of outcomes.
Yeah, I think
I'm with you. Give me division.
I wouldn't be surprised if they only won 6 games, and I wouldn't be surprised if they win 13. But they're another team with a very early bye. They got a week 6 bye, week 5 bye. Brutal in a 17-game season.
Yeah, that's
rough. And then having San Francisco come in right after the bye.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
I mean, so their schedule gets pretty easy down the stretch, though. Relative to what teams were last year.
Yeah. I mean, Chicago ain't nothing to mess around with. Houston's going to be frisky. Jets brought in Aaron Rodgers. Then you finish the game with Cincy. I think that's a pretty tough 5-game stretch. Looking at 2023 rosters.
Yeah, after the bye, I mean they got Indy, they got Seattle, who was a playoff team last year and was good, but like they're not exactly like a no.
They have some winnable games. They have some winnable games coming off the bye, but like down the stretch, like
and then Denver
going to Denver, playing in Denver is hard, regardless of.
You'd rather do it late in the year than early, though.
Yeah. And then Rams, you're not too worried about that. But then Jacksonville, Chicago, Houston, Jets, Cincy.
You got Jacksonville in the dog pound.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't have to go to Jacksonville. It's a big
I like the way this schedule works out for them down the stretch. I do. Like, they need stuff to go right in their secondary health-wise, but like if it does, I really like the way this schedule shakes out.
Good luck chasing around Justin Fields and Week 14.
So actually, this was on the Bears schedule, like release podcast that we did. This is the game that scares me the most for the Bears all season. Like this defensive line scares me.
It could be the deteriorating factor of Bears season.
Yeah,
but we're not talking about the Bears.
We are not. So. One thing I do want to mention is Jim Schwartz and his D coordinator for the Browns. I mean, I think he's going to bring a degree of accountability to this defense. If those corners stay healthy, I think this defense will be shooting on all cylinders with him as D coordinator. He's a good proven D coordinator in this
very
league.
good D coordinator.
Yeah.